Hello, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a Pong game in Scratch. So I'm at the Scratch website right now. If you go to scratch.mit.edu and press new project. This is the Scratch editor. This is where I can snap blocks together to create the code. We'll be making a Pong game today, so we won't be needing the Scratch cat. I could just click on this white X right here to delete him. I've already pre-created some art for you. You can download it by going to the Udemy website. I'm going to click backdrops, and I'm going to press right here where it says right here, and I'm going to press upload backdrop. Then I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and then in Pong Art I'm going to select the background. Here we go. It's a nice blue gradient. I'm then going to go into the code and then press right here, choose a sprite, and press paint. This will create a new sprite for me. I've already created a sprite which is ball, so I'm going to go right here and press upload costume, and I'm going to select the ball. I can use these tools right here and over here to manipulate it. So I'm going to select the ball and drag it into the center and zoom in. That's actually quite big, but we can fix that later. For now, just go into the code and click on events. I'm going to drag out the when green flag clicked. This is a block that will run that code when the green flag is clicked. Then I'm going to scroll down to a forever loop and drag it out, and snap it under the when green flag is clicked. This forever loop will repeat forever, infinite amount of times. I'm then going to go to motion and drag out the go to x 0 and y. I'm going to set this to 0 for the x and for the y 150. I'm then going to drag it under the when green flag clicked. This block right here will set the position of the ball. So you can see when I click the green flag, it goes to the top of the screen. X is the value at which the object is moved on the left to right axis. The Y is up and down axis. The other thing that we want the ball to do is the size is way too big, so we need to set it down. I can accomplish that by going into looks and dragging out the set size to 100 block. I can change this to 30 and put it when the green flag is clicked. So when I click the green flag, it goes to that position and it sets the size to smaller. The next thing we want it to do is move the ball around and bounce off the walls. We can go to motion and drag out the point in direction 90. This will point the ball in a certain direction that we want it to. But we want it to point in a random direction. So if we go to operators and drag out the pick random 1 to 10 and put it in the 90. This will pick a random number in the coordinates that you put in right here. I'm going to put in 0 in the first block and 360 in the second one. But that won't move the block, won't move the ball. So we're going to have to go to motion and put in move 10 steps. This will move the ball in the direction that it's facing. So when I click the green flag, you can see it moves in a random direction, but it doesn't bounce off the ball. We have a certain block that will do exactly that. If on edge, bounce. I'm going to drag that out and put it under to move 10 steps. So when I click the green flag, it bounces off the walls. I can then rename this to ball. Now what we want to do is create a paddle to move around the screen. So I can go to choose a sprite and press paint. There's already a paddle pre-drawn, so I'm just going to mouse under here, it'll let me, and choose upload costume. Then I'm going to select the paddle. I'm then going to delete this costume one and go back into the code. I'm going to rename this to paddle. We can't see right now, so if I go back to costumes, I move it up a little bit, there we go. I'm going to go into code, and then we're going to start creating our code. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to want to move the paddle along the mouse, with the mouse. But we don't want it to move up and down with the mouse. We only want it to move side to side. And we also want it to shrink the size down. So if we go to events and drag out the one green flag clicked and scroll down a little bit and drag out our forever loop. This is all the code we actually need for in the events. Then we're going to go to looks and drag out the set size to 100. I'm going to set this to maybe around 30 and there's the green flag. That's big enough. And then we'll also want it to move along the x-axis with the mouse. If we go to motion, if we drag out the set x to 36 and set it to 0, and press the green flag, the center is in the middle. But we also want to set the y. So we can drag out a set y to 26 and set that to negative 150. 160, 130. So we want to move along the x-axis. If we scroll down a little bit, we should see in sensing, we should see mouse X. That's what we need. I'm going to drag that out and put it in the set X to mouse X. So there it goes. Moves along with the mouse. That's what we want. The next thing we want to do is make the ball bounce off the paddle. So we're going to go back to the ball sprite and then go to events. If I scroll down a little bit, I can see this control tab and there's this if then. It has a little triangle in it. If I drag that out, I'm going to put it under the if on edge bounce. And then I'm going to go to sensing and drag out a touching mouse pointer. And if you put it in the little triangle, it'll snap in. If I select this white arrow down and press paddle, that will run a code. So if it's touching the paddle, it'll run the code, whatever's in there. What we want it to do is point in a random direction and then bounce off the paddle. So we can go to motion and drag out a, point in direction 90. We want it to point in a random direction. So we can go to operators and drag out the pick random 1 to 10. I'm going to set this to pick random negative 100 to 100. I'm then going to go to motion and drag out a move 10 steps and put it under there. I'm going to set this to negative 10 steps. So when I click the green flag, where's that little paddle? Where'd it go? Where did it go? Hold on. After countless seconds wasted, I finally found out the problem. We had to switch the costume to costume and switch it to ball. There we go. Whoa, he's really big. I'm going to set this down to 20. Okay, so you can see it should, when I click the green flag, bounce off the paddle. Let me drag this up here and press the green flag. There we go. That looks actually really nice. So this is the end for part 1. In the second tutorial, we're going to create a game over screen and a lava, like a lava fill right here. So if the ball touches it, game over. See you there.